Wow, that is not what I was expecting straight away. And that is the situation that occurs all the time in our life, folks. Things pop up that we're not expecting. And today, we're going to share with you what we were talking about last week that I promised I'd share with you, and that is how to turn anything around. And it's turning any problem into progress. And so instead of being stuck in a problem, you're actually getting progress towards your goals and your desire. And it's called the power of three questions. You may have heard of the trilogy or the power of three before. And this is the power of three magic little questions that you can carry with you, ask at any point in time, and totally turn any situation around. Now, most people stay stuck not because the problem is too big, but because they're asking the wrong questions. And your brain is like a Google or a search engine. It was described to me once as the crew of Star Trek, and it was actually National Star Trek Day yesterday, I think. So that's pretty apt. That their response, the crew is yes, Captain. Whatever you say, it's yes. So your brain is like Google, and if you kind of like just type in a bad question, it won't argue with you. It'll just say yes, absolutely. So if you say it'll happily fetch you the bad answers if you put in a bad question. So if you ask, why does this always happen to me? Your brain will dig up every memory or situation proving to you that life is unfair. If you ask better questions, you suddenly get better results. Now, here's the quick three question process that works basically like a GPS for your life. You know, your GPS, if you don't plug something in, the GPS is worthless. If you don't put good questions in, you won't get good answers. So, the first question, step one, what happened? That's it. What happened? Now, it's not the drama, it's not the story, it's just the facts. Think like a detective, not a drama screenwriter. So instead of, oh, my boss embarrassed me today because they hate me at work in front of everyone. No, my boss gave me feedback in front of others. That's it. So instead of the full, oh, embarrassing story, it's just my boss gave feedback in front of others. That's what happened. So you can see the shift. The story adds pain, where the facts bring clarity. Facts are neutral, they strip away the emotional storm so you can see clearly. So that's step one. What happened? Step two, you ask the question, what do I want? So what happened? Straight into what do I want. Now, most people they skip this step because they're focused on what they don't want. So it's not what do I want? Well, I don't want blah 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 blah. That's what you don't want. Ignore the don't want and focus on what the do want is. So don't want, do want. So most people skip that because they're just focused on what they don't want. And remember, energy flows where attention goes. If you keep saying, I don't want to fail, I don't want to be broke, I don't want to be alone, your brain is still visualizing the failure, the scarcity, and the loneliness. Because do not think of a pink elephant. Congratulations, you just thought of a pink elephant. Because the brain works like this, you have to think of it first to not think of it. You have to bring it up into awareness to then not be aware of it. So using don'ts or negatives does not work for the brain for not thinking about it. So instead of saying, I don't want to fail, I don't want to be broke, I don't want to be alone, instead, direct it to the opposite. I want stability. I want connection. I want peace. This is where imagination kicks in, and this is you setting the GPS destination. Instead of just driving around in circles based on your past, you're starting to set a new direction. And then this is when we go into step three, the what can I do aspect. The what can I do is the next step. And this is where there's no limitations. There's no limitations in step two or step three. The world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want. This is where ideas become movement, not what could the universe do for me or what should someone else do. It's what can I do? Take the power back into yourself and you'll change your world. Big dreams collapse with small steps. Want wealth? Want health? I can drink a glass of water instead of soda. There you go. You save some money from having soda and you're getting your body healthier by drinking a glass of water. It's a tiny little step, yet it's a step towards being more healthy and wealthy. Want respect? Well, I can calmly ask my boss for a private chat. Instead of an emotional breakdown, just, hey, can I have a quiet word? Want peace? I can take 3 deep breaths before I respond. I want peace. Let's see. So action doesn't have to be massive. It's the smallest little step that creates momentum, and momentum creates evidence, and evidence reshapes our beliefs. So think of life as a GPS. This is how it all works together. Think of it as like a life GPS for you. First question, what happened? This is your current location, just the facts. This is where you are right now in the vehicle. What do I want? The second question, it's your destination. It's imagination unlimited. You can design you are allowed to want anything. Then, what can I do? Question three. What can I do is the first little action step. It's the first turn. It's the smallest, simplest step. If you can say, what can I do? Well, I can build myself a car. It's like, okay, well, before you build yourself a car, let's break it. Why don't you get an online engineering course? Why don't you like break it down to the smallest little step? Oh, my friend's a mechanic. I can give my friend a phone call and talk to him about what it takes to build a car. So instead of building the whole car, you can chat to someone who knows a bit about them. So that what can I do simple step can be as simple as just a phone call to a friend. So can keep just repeating this. What happened? What do I want? What can I do? And so to take you into action and then follow through on that action. So do that instead of just cycling the street of your past. Because a lot of people stay in the what happened and they create this whole emotional story. And they're just going around and around the cul-de-sac, not getting anywhere. And they run out of fuel and they're exhausted. Then their car rusts. And they're like, oh, the universe is against me. No, you stayed stuck in what happened with all your emotional trauma. So instead of circling the same streets, by doing this process, you're moving towards where you actually want to go. So here's some helpful hints for you. Keep your answers short. If your what happened starts to sound like a novel, you've drifted into story instead of fact. Stay in the facts, not the story. The facts are the facts. The story is your emotional interpretation around the facts. And another thing you can do is write them down. The brain trusts what it sees more than when it just floats around in the imagination. Write it down, and in the writing of what happened, you're actually able to pause for a moment and see what it is you're actually saying to yourself on repeat in your head. So write down what happened and then cross out as many words as you can so you still get the story. What do I mean? Say, for example, it was a lovely rainy, shiny day as I struggled to get out into the morning, and it had rained the night before, a torrent of water, and I stepped in the puddle, destroying my most favorite socks. Okay, cross that out. I got up this morning and stepped in a puddle. Boom. That's what happened. Everything else is story. And so, and then what do you want? Dry socks. Where are they? Upstairs. I can go upstairs. So you can then take an action, a small step. So practice on small things. So here's the task for you. Keep your answers short, jot them down until you get in the habit of getting the most just factual, straight, just data, just the data, just the facts. What happened? What do I want is your fantasy zone. You can think about anything. And then what can I do? So practice this with small things. You spilled your coffee. Ah, what happened? I spilled my coffee. Not Joanne distracted me while I was talking to such and such on the phone, and it was a terrible. And then the coffee's and my suit is ruined, and this is going to be terrible. It was my birthday present from 10 years. No, I spilled my coffee. Practice with the small things. Spilled the coffee. What do you want? I want a new coffee, or I want to change of clothes. What can I do? I can go home and change. I can go make a new coffee. There's a lot of things. Practice a traffic jam. What happened? I get stuck in traffic. What do I want? I want to get home. What can I do? Well, I can wait until the traffic moves forward. I can look for an alternative route, or I can do the work now that I was going to do when I get home. So when I get home, it's a lot quicker. What happened? I lost my keys. So many people, I'm going to be late for work. I'm going to go. But no, what happened was I lost my keys. Simple. What do I want? I want my keys. Okay, what can I do? I can ask for help to find them. I can start retracing the last place I had it in my hand. I can start to take an action rather than stay in the emotion of what happened. So train your brain in the little moments so you're strong and ready and prepared for the big moments. And I've had this experience. I had a big moment. And I didn't quickly jump into the habit of this process. I did have my what happened emotional story last about 10 minutes, but it lasted 10 minutes instead of 10 hours or 10 days. And that was, I was going to a very important, I was employed to go work somewhere. All my notes and information was on my cell phone. And when I got out of the Uber at the airport, my phone had fallen out of my pocket in the Uber. So at first, when I went to check in, I'm like, I've lost, what happened? I lost my phone. And then I quickly went into, that means that I'm not going to be able to do my job. I don't have it. And I started to go down this, and then I go, whoa, 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 whoa. That story. What happened was I lost my Uber. What do I want? If I lost, I didn't lose my Uber. I lost my phone in the Uber. What happened was I lost my phone in an Uber. What do I want? I want my phone. What can I do? And then I quickly, within 10 minutes, I got to the what can I do? I got on my computer. I set off a security alert on my phone. I contacted Uber. I got a cell phone from the desk clerk and let me ring my own phone. And then within about 20 minutes, after that, I had the Uber had turned back. I gave him a nice tip and I had my phone back. So instead of it being a completely destroyed weekend or years of story, it turned into 20-minute experience and I was back on track. It works. So life will always throw situations at you. The difference between stuck and free is the questions you ask. Facts clear the fog, desire sets the direction, and then action makes it real. So, next time life feels tangled, remember 3 questions: what happened? What do I want? What can I do? Can change literally everything.
Awesome stuff. I didn't realize I was muted. Sorry about that.
I could see the intention, but I heard nothing.
Yeah, and Alan said earlier, don't get stuck in the tornado.
Exactly.
Um,
Great. It's great to see you, Alan.
he said, my magic was in full force today. I went and helped my friend go get her car. And the first 2 times she went out with other people, it wouldn't start, but she went out with me and the car just started. So presence,
Nice. It
energy.
is it's actually this is what we are talking about a couple of weeks ago. The energy you have with your intentions. Alan, your intention was to help, and that energy is a energy field around you. And so it can actually affect the physical matrix of reality. And we went into a little deeper a few weeks ago, so go check those recordings, or we can touch on it again in the future. But that is beautiful. Your intention to help created the opportunity of you being of help to the environment and your friend.
Yeah,
That's great. Mm.
really cool.
So thanks for everyone for joining us. We're going to drop off now and do some personal healing stuff, personal energy healing work for those that are here with us. And how can they join us, Amy?
So it's easy. Just go to toxicminefield.com and you can sign up. It's free to join us. And then you can join us when we jump off and talk to us personally. We'll just jump off the live. But in the meantime, just go there. You can also just go check out jamiehoney.com to find